It's a real pleasure to have you guys here with us, all our audience. Thank you very much for tuning in. Just a little bit about us. We're a space education company, and our goal is to increase the number of space technologists in the country, increase awareness about space in general, because we love it and we want other people to love it too. Ruchira ma'am, she is the co-founder of Makeshift and a freelance space writer. We also have Mr. Srinivas, sir, and he's a freelance writer for the Times of India, and he's got a lot of experience in covering space-related events in our country. He's even written a bunch of books that are space-themed. And welcome, ma'am. Welcome, sir. We're really, really honored to have you here with us today.
Thank you so much. Both of us. It is an honor to be here.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's about time that we talked about journalism. Journalism, writing about space, because from what I know and from what I've seen, space journalism is a pretty new field, right? And I don't think even a few years ago people might have paid that much attention to really writing about space in that way, bring it to the common people, as it were. I think right off the bat, the first thing I'd like to ask you guys is, can you tell us a little more about this particular field, space journalism, what its origins are, where it started from, what it is now?
Okay. Ruchi, would you take it up or shall I?
You take it.
Okay.
Yes, you take it.
Yeah, you asked about origins of space journalism, right? Space journalism in India is comparatively a new field completely, because space itself is comparatively new in India. Okay. Initially, it was aviation journalism.
Very rigid about how long, say.
Can you repeat your question? I didn't get you.
No, I just wanted to know what space journalism as a field really is. Like, what you can tell us about this field, its origins,
okay. Space journalism
and what it is now.
Basically means, yeah, I'll tell you. Initially, it was part of aviation journalism. There was no space journalism as such. It was only aviation, covering flights, airports, etc., chaos, flights, etc. Then it graduated into aerospace journalism when we started, launching the small rockets in Tumba, Sriharikota, etc. But afterwards, India started heading towards becoming a full-fledged space power as it is today, a successful space power.
Of course.
As a result, space journalism became separate. It detached from aerospace and aviation, and now it is a separate field altogether. And you have to have those involved in space journalism will have to be a little involved, passionate, read a lot, because the challenge is converting the high-tech terminology into a layman's layman's language and excite the layman. That is the entire issue right now.
Right. So I was thinking, why is it important to do that? I mean, space, obviously, we are excited by it and everything, but why is it important to take what's happening in the space industry right now in our country? Why is it important to take it to, the average person in the population? Why is that important?
So I think space science is more than going out of Earth's orbit, going to other planets, traveling in space, and understanding cosmos. What we need to highlight here is that it is also integral part of our day-to-day life. Nowadays, whatever we do, it is all about space science.
All right.
So it is like your ATM, your everything is all about space science. Your television, your mobiles. In fact, right now the live interaction which is happening here is also because of space science. So in short, space science is very essential part of our life right now, nowadays, right? So we can look at space science, writing and journalism as a medium of make people medium to make people aware and educate about space science. Also, I think it is a tool to bring space science to common man. So stakeholders in this field have immense responsibility on their shoulders.
Right.
Do you want to add anything?
So, yes, sir, I would like to know your opinion on this too.
No, what she has said is absolutely valid. I totally agree with her. Basically, translating the techie terminology, high funda jargon of space to the person on the road who will be excited tomorrow when he sees a rocket launch. It's our job, Ruchi, me, etc., to tell the common man what is the significance, what is the importance, what is the excitement about it in a layman's language. That is the main challenge we face.
Right.
Marketing this whole thing to the layman, either in print or in electronic media or wherever it is.
Yes.
All right. So, I want to go a little deeper into the what exactly it is that you guys do, right? And so, Ruchira ma'am, as I understand, you've had a little bit of experience working in these projects, space-related projects, as I understand. And what I want to ask is, having had a little bit of experience with the tech side of things, how does it affect how you write about it? Does it give you maybe an advantage because you have an inside perspective on these things? What would you say to that?
Yes. So, a first-hand experience in these projects definitely gives you really good experience, because it brings the experience live and the real to the audience also. It is treat for readers too. Because I think the elements which you can bring with your first-hand experience are irreplaceable. But alas, there are very few people in this field who write with first-hand experience, and I think this tribe must grow. Our tribe should grow.
The people who have experience in these fields and can share it from a first-hand experience. But then, having said that, would you go so far as to say that it's absolutely necessary that you have to be involved in the technical aspects? Because, I mean, obviously it does offer an edge, as you say, but do you think it's necessary to be from that background?
Frankly speaking, no. I think having space background can add value, but it is not really. So I'll give you an example. Once we made ex-chairperson of ISRO, that is K. Kasturirangan sir. I still remember what he told me that day. And he said, if you want to understand anything about space science, about any mission, I will suggest you to go to this man. This man means the person who is sitting here, Srinivas Lakshman. And ask your doubts to him instead of asking to any scientist present here. And I think this experience, this incident talks a lot about, everything. Like this experience will answer your question, because he is not from space background.
Thank you so much. You made my Friday night.
Right now, he is a space person. Yeah.
You made my Friday night. Time to celebrate. Okay, tell me.
So, anything you'd like to add to that, sir? Because
if you have a space background and go for journalism, and she said that yes, it's only an added value. But if you don't have that background, you can understand what the requirement of the audience is and probably put it across in a more simple manner and an interesting manner. I do find that, I don't want to mention names here, Dhruv, but I have some friends in the space journalism in the one major newspaper in Chennai. I don't want to mention the name. Not my paper, Times of India, but our label. You can guess what it is.
All right.
They are very qualified, and this thing, compared to me or anybody, one of them is a PhD based in Delhi. By Jove, when he writes, you require a dictionary next to you or a teacher sitting line by line here. That's the problem.
I see.
It's full of values, full of stuff, but you can't understand what the hell he's trying to say.
I see. So
I think you need to understand your audience. You have to empathize with your audience.
And that is where can I add a line?
So the ability to write, of course, that's
ability to write. Yes.
I think my next question would be, I'm sure you guys have had a lot of I mean, between the two of you, you guys have had a whole lot of experience just in space, the industry, people involved in it. And obviously, because you've had that experience, I find it absolutely compelling to ask you. In your experience, you must have had interactions with, well-known people in this particular field, right? People that us space enthusiasts might even call legends in our right. And what I want to ask you is if you can tell us about any such interactions, some anecdotes maybe that you'd like to share.
Yeah. Okay, this was the night of November 11th, 1995. Okay, my office, the chief PRO of Air India, Jitinder Bhargava, asked me to head to the airport, Terminal 2, Sahar International Airport, Mumbai, at 2 o'clock in the morning. I told my office, they said, yes, we know the reason, but we are not going to disclose why you are going there. But please be there because you will never regret it. Please be there. So here my daughter was about, 1 week old, and I had to leave the house very carefully, without making noise. Got down my step, reached Kandy, Mumbai. It was like today's lockdown at that hour. Even then, there was a lot of activity at 2 o'clock, not like today. And got into a cab, headed for Terminal 2. There, somehow certain arrangements had already been in. Nobody wanted to tell me why I had to be there. I got into the arrival area of the customs and waited. A customs officer made friends. I met a guy. I was asked to meet him. He was a very nice guy, very friendly guy. Very rare customs people are nice, but they were nice. And exactly at 2:30, the Lufthansa flight landed. A lot of people came in, and suddenly this guy said, "Please go and meet that guy." I said, "Which guy? Please tell me. How can I just go and say meet that guy?" He said, "You won't regret it." I mustered courage, went to him. I got really scared and discovered he was Neil Armstrong, the first man who landed on the moon. I said, "Sir," he said, "he speaks one word for 1 hour." I mean, that's the beauty of Neil Armstrong. It's an honor to be and come to Bombay. And I asked a difficult question. How do you feel about being on the moon? He said, fine. And something he signed for me, autograph. Then he went next day at a press conference, huge press conference at the President Hotel. And I asked him, will you go back to the moon? And he said, if you come with me, I'll go back. That is it. And I also met Buzz Aldrin. He was very rude to me in Jerusalem. And I met the last man who went to the moon, Gene Cernan. These are the three. And I met a lot of others, but I want to give Lucy a chance because she's also met a lot of people.
One day he called me and said, please be free on this particular day and you're not doing anything else on this day. So because we are meeting someone very special. And then it turned out he was the man who went to space for 7 times. And he has this world record with him, and that man was none other than Jerry Ross. We had a long discussion with him, and in that discussion, I asked him, casually, why do you think all this space travel is important? Why do you think, according to you, why space travel is important? And I still remember the answer which he gave. He said, whenever you stay away from your house, whenever you are staying at hostel or something like that, you start realizing, the importance of your family members and small things which you actually get when you are at home. And it is very similar to your space travel. So when you go out there, you start realizing the importance of your earth, the air here, the plants here, and everything. So I was talking about my interaction with Jerry Ross. So when I asked him about this, why according to him, why space travel is important, and that time when he compared living and living house. So he said when you leave your house and you stay at hostel or in some other country or city, you start realizing and understanding the importance of your family members and your family and your home. This is very similar to that. When you go out there, you start understanding the importance of your earth, the planets here, the atmosphere here, the air, the gravity, which we don't even consider. The another person whom we met was Mikhail Kornienko, who was in space for 1 year, for like a whole 1 year with Scott Kelly. and we had a discussion
Right.
about mental health and effects of
All right.
effects of isolation in the space. So right now we all are in the isolation, lockdown. So we all are living in isolation. So
Mm-hmm.
I really find what he told me that time is very relevant to the today's scenario.
Of course.
He said, when you go out there, we all are like social animals, and when we go out there, we start
Yeah.
missing small things, and then again, like how Jerry Ross said, we start understanding the importance of small things, and then we don't take
Mm.
things granted. So I think
Mm.
one common thing
Right.
which I understood from all these people who went to space or who are space legends is that they all have, this deep compassion towards Earth, and the sense of compassion increases when you go to the space. This is what is my discovery when I met all of them.
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course. Yeah. I mean, it's hard not to be passionate about this particular field. That is true. And that's what I find so
Yeah.
cool about
Yeah.
your job, like journalism, writing about space. I mean, you literally get to meet these people, and that's, I think, really would make for some motivational interactions.
Yes.
So one more way in which I would like to take advantage of your experience is having seen the growth and development of space in India. I mean, I know most people don't like doing this, but I would have to ask you to predict the future a little for me. Like, where do you see space in India going? As Srini said, that it's going to be huge later on in the beginning. So, can you elaborate a little more on where you see it going? Maybe some developments that you predict are going to happen, or some developments that you might want to see happening. Comments on the future, basically.
Shall I take it up?
You take.
Okay.
You take. Yeah.
Then you can this thing. We are going to have mission, some interplanetary missions. One is to the third mission to the moon is coming up.
Mm-hmm.
Then we have a second mission to Mars, which is an orbiting mission. Then we have a mission to Venus. Then we are going to have a space station of our own. Then, of course, the Gaganyaan mission, the manned mission, we are launching 2021 and 2022.
Of course.
But what I would like to see, these are all great. I'm not denying it at all. And I hope the next mission to the moon is successful, because again, it's a tricky landing in the South Pole region. Very tricky. But what would really excite all of us is the day when the first Indian lands on the moon. That will be the day when we can put a tricolor on the moon. That is it. And a Gaganyaan mission must be having an agenda. They don't want to reveal it. You just cannot go up to the Earth orbit, come back after 1 week, and then go again and come back and say, look, there is an agenda. Now, that agenda has not been fully disclosed. So Mr. Shivan has been off and on saying, yes, we have plans of going to moon man. But if they put it up on their website, I'll talk about it a little later if you have the time. It will be nice. It will excite a lot of people. And I think we are going to make a spot because US is recognizing us now.
Yes.
So, ma'am, anything that you'd like to say? Where do you see us going as far as space is concerned, as far as space exploration is concerned?
So I think he covered almost everything.
No, but you may be having some thoughts. Where is the priority you would like?
But if you look at the past and the present, then India always focuses on the day-to-day life things. So I like after we said, I think it may that focus will change, or maybe they will have some really new ideas and new things to do here also. Like now there is one mobile phone coming up with our own system, Naviac system, right? So like that, I guess there will be there are some more things which are coming. Yeah.
Dhruv, can I
all right. That's
a small relevant comment on this?
Yeah,
Can I
sure,
say
sure.
something?
Sure, sir.
The father
Sure,
of
sir.
India's
Please.
father of India's space program, Vikram Sarabhai, in the 60s,
Can't hear.
when we now you can hear? You can't hear?
Yeah. Yeah.
In the 60s, when India's space program was started in a church, it had a unique beginning, not in a laboratory workshop, in a church, say Mary Magdalene Church near Thiruvananthapuram. Vikram Sarabhai repeatedly said, our mission is not to send a man to moon or Mars or not a human space, but interplanetary mission. Ours is a day-to-day societal mission. That means beyond agriculture, coastland, number of fisheries, we will not go forward. But what happened? People like Kasturi Rangan realized if we are stuck to that, we would have remained where we are. So we came from the philosophy of Vikram Sarabhai and embarked on this trajectory. And this is going further and further.
Yeah. Yes.
Right. Right. All right. That's I mean, that's actually kind of cool. I mean, all great things have modest beginnings, you know. So yeah. So I guess at this point, I was actually expecting the audience to have given us some questions. I think I'll wait a few seconds, maybe see if the audience would like to ask something from you guys. I mean, you know, that's a lot of information you guys have put out there over the last 25 minutes, and let's see if the audience has anything to say. So do tell me, being in your I want to ask, being in your field, what are some of the day-to-day challenges that you face? Day-to-day challenges, and maybe like, you know, the long-term challenges also that you might be facing because it's a grand goal that you guys have, space and bringing it to people. So what are some of the things that, you know, some of the challenges that you guys face for something like this?
Ruchi, you have some points on that.
Yeah, you start, then I'll continue.
See, the main challenge is, can I take some time on this? Can I take some few minutes on this?
Yeah, sure. Absolutely.
See, what happened is, they started on, whenever I left Sriharikota, drove out of Sriharikota, which is the launch center of India, after covering a launch, we left with a feeling of fulfillment. A feeling of being rewarded, a feeling of fulfillment. Look, we have achieved it. As journalists, we have achieved it. What was the reason? I mean, the mission went up. We didn't have much role of activating the launch key because the scientists and engineers were accessible to us. They went on record giving us quotes, interviews, etc. There was a mutual trust among the journalists and the space fraternity, the ISRO guys. But unfortunately, I find in the recent past, that sense of rapport, the sense of trust is not there, because unfortunately, ISRO in the recent past, a very successful organization, has become a closed-door society. And as a result, it's not very transparent, unfortunately. The best example is what happened on the September 7th, when Vikram lander failed to send a signal after crash landing. What happened? Till today, it's also going to be 1 year. We don't know why it happened. What happens then? It leads to a lot of speculative reports among the journalists, one-upmanship, and everything goes berserk. So I think, as NASA does when it happened with the case of the Boeing Starliner failure, they need to just come out say why this Chandrayaan 2 mission did not fully succeed. Not based on newspaper reports or something. Put it on your website. What is wrong? Failures are inevitable in space. That the rapport has to come back. And developing sources who are trustworthy, and the sources must trust the journalists. And that is the main challenge today we are facing.
Yeah.
That is definitely something to think about.
So, yeah. So he covered almost everything, but I'm not associated with any media house. I also have some different perspectives.
All right.
I write for different audience, that too in English and Marathi, which is my mother tongue. Audience, rules, and style of writing varies with different platforms. So, sticking to your own style and still writing something which suits to your platform is also a challenge sometimes. Uh, Sometimes people with whom you are dealing are not aware of ground reality. So, making them understand these things also test your patience. I'll give you one example. Like
All right.
we were working with like Chandrayaan 2. So I wrote one article for Mumbai Mirror, one article for Lok Satta, and one article, one planetarium show script which we both did together. So I wrote Chandrayaan 2 in three different perspectives, in three different ways for three different audience. So when my first article appeared, it was in so it was an English article, and I received messages from people who are from technology background, who understand technology language, because that platform needs technological terms and all this jargons to be used. So they read it, they liked it, but people the layman. I didn't get feedback from layman because they find it boring.
Right.
They found it boring.
Yeah.
Okay, so then when I wrote for Lok Satta, it was for layman, and I still remember around 12:30 in the night, I received a mail from one housewife. She was in her late 40s, and she said, "Till today, I used to think, I can just understand recipe from a newspaper and then just go and try it in my kitchen. But today, after reading your article, I think even I can understand space science." So I think that was the realization point for me, where I realized, okay, read this, and this platform is not for them. So when we were writing for the planetarium script, for that script also we have to write it in such a way that even children can read it and understand it. So when you are writing for all these platforms, you have to empathize with all these things, and then you have to understand your audience, then your editor and platform. So you have to take care of all this.
All the different
also,
aspects.
and it can be a challenge. Yeah.
Right. All right.
But
So,
when I read an article, when I read an article about Chandrayaan 2 in Mumbai Mirror, I really thought it was a professional writer. I didn't know he was a newcomer, not working, this, that, and all, but very professionally handled. I'll tell you that. Even the spacewalk, all women spacewalk on October 18th. That's it.
Right.
Okay.
Thank you.
How do we answer all these questions on the right?
Yeah. Of course, that's just what I was going to come to. So there's a question here. That for you, Srinivas sir, have you ever dreamt of being an astronaut? Wow. Okay.
Well, I certainly have the dream all the time, but as a kid, I was not good at maths. Maybe if I had to command the spacecraft instead of landing on moon or on somewhere else and not come back at all, not being here in front of you today, I would. All of us have this dream,
Yeah, I mean, obviously, it's the most.
Yeah.
Every child has had a dream.
All of us have this dream.
Yes, every child has a dream.
In fact, Ruchi has got a photograph of her in astronaut's dress on the moon.
Oh,
cool. I think Ishan is watching this. Yeah. So I'm the first woman on the moon. You can say that. So before NASA launched and landed,
Yuri Gagarin did
and I took that opportunity.
Right. Yeah. So moving on. So there's another question. So you guys are your journalism is focused towards space. Now, how does space journalism, how does it contribute to the growth of science communication in India? So the broad aspect of science. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think there are many ways, like according to me, first very important thing here is reaching out to the audience in native languages also. So there should be dedicated space science journalists or maybe a science journalist in vernacular media houses also, and they should involve people with first-hand experience, experts in this subject, and must have dedicated columns for this subject. So if for science also, and if we have that dedicated column, dedicated people who are continuously writing, then we can, we can actually we can expand this reach. I'll give you one example. There is this lady called Nandini Thatte, and like there's this couple, Sudhir Thatte and Nandini Thatte. So this person is from BARC, and this lady is an art, she's from art background. But since last so many years, what they are doing is, after all this Nobel laureates, like Nobel prizes get announced, they make one story out of it, which is like a cartoon and everything, and they publish one book on 25th of December each and every year. So even Nobel Committee acknowledged them. And I think, like this, we should, like go and we should reach out to people. And I think vernacular media is the important thing right now. Because if you want to reach out to a larger audience and expand this communication, then we have to do this. And in space science, there are very less people who are doing it in vernacular languages. So I think people should think about it.
So, various different languages.
Can I offer a comment?
Yeah,
sure.
You see, on the 27th of May 27th is going to be a very historic day for the world space program, because the first private space flight to the moon, to the International Space Station with SpaceX, jointly with NASA, we launched it. Everything is a go at Florida, Cape Canaveral Air Force Station, where there are so many factors. My God, you must see NASA, how they have built up their public relations. I mean, it's amazing. The videos, the bookmarks, the cards, every day they're doing it, And by the time on the 26th night, 10:30, the coverage starts on NASA TV, all of us will become experts on that field. I think that's the excitement they have created. Today, a lot of people know who are the two astronauts who are going on that very risky mission, Crew Dragon 2, SpaceX. Because the way they built it up in a very exciting manner, as Ruchira rightly said, through cartoons, this, that, videos, that's how it should be. Build up the excitement, man. That's it.
Yeah. I mean, it is pretty exciting. So, Right. So, as a matter of fact, ma'am,
film is also one of the important. Yeah.
Yeah, please carry on.
What?
No, I was just going to move on to another question. But please carry on.
Film is also one of the. Okay. Yeah. So I said film is also one of the important aspect which we can look into. So.
Oh yeah.
We both always discuss. No one knew about Mission Mangal before Mission Mangal, that movie came, right? So I think Bollywood and other like animated films also, they also can help, or they are already helping in to reach out to the common people and awareing them about science and space science.
All right.
You want to add something?
Mangalyaan mission has generated 5 Bollywood movies.
Yeah.
Can you beat that?
Yes.
5 Bollywood movies.
That was like a 5th year, I guess, of. And I guess that was 5th year of 5th anniversary of Mission Mangal. That entire mission. But people didn't come to know about it from ISRO, but people came to know about it from that film.
Yes. I mean, in fact, yesterday they announced in Hollywood that SpaceX and NASA are joining hands with Tom Cruise for a movie on the International Space Station.
Yeah.
That's it. Now the new PR for the space and the nuclear industry is Bollywood and Hollywood.
Right. So, sir, I'd like to move on.
So even there is one option in US. Yeah.
I'd like to move on to another question at this point. There's a question here. Okay, so this is a little more of an academic, educational kind of question. Can undergrads or school students start space journalism as their career? And if yes, where should they begin? So basically, how do you start doing it, really? Journalism for space.
Okay.
It's open.
So
Really.
I started writing when I was I was doing my undergrad. Can you hear me?
Yeah. I can hear you.
Continue.
Can you hear me? Yeah. So I started writing about space when I was doing my undergraduation. So I think I was in my first year or so when I started writing about all these things. So yes, you can do it. And how? So having holistic approach and deep understanding of your subject, start reading, start understanding, and I don't know how to approach media houses because I didn't do that. I used to write on my own blog and then on Facebook, and through that I got opportunity to they inquired and they asked me to write for them. So I think for that question, how to approach, Srinivas sir is the best person to answer.
Approach.
Well,
Yeah, which approach?
basically,
Someone,
when you're starting out, how do you go about doing it? Undergrads, school students, if they're interested in this particular field.
Okay, I can answer that question thanks to Ruchi. On September 8, 2018, I had to address, I was so nervous. She made me very nervous. 300 students and parents in her school, her ex-school in Nalasopara. I'll tell you one of the best experiences in my life because what questions these kids asked. I spoke to them in English. They understood. They were so enthusiastic. But the thing was, it was a great experience interacting with them, the parents, the teachers, etc. They're very interested, very excited. It's a way you put it across. That's very important. Recently, both of us went to another college, Viva College in Virar. There also a lot of excitement, enthusiasm is there. The question is, in India, it has not been marketed very strongly as they do elsewhere.
Right.
I think forums like us must take it up in the coming days, work together and push it across saying, look, this is the field open team.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Why I'm telling you is yesterday, space.com, the famous website, put out a 30-second ad by the US Space Force, what is called the US Space Force. Okay, there's a new Ministry of. They're asking youngsters to join the Space Force. My God, the way they have talent, you must see. It's so entertaining, 30 seconds.
Yeah.
That's what we should do.
I mean, they're marketed well.
Yeah. Get into the SpaceX culture, that's what I'm trying to say, rather than old-fashioned culture.
I see. I understand. So there's one more question that I'd like to take here. Sir, I think this is directed at you. What do you think are the challenges that India is going to face during the Gaganyaan mission and the mission for a space station? What are the challenges you think we're going to face in these particular missions? Gaganyaan.
Gaganyaan is a manned mission. I mean, well, it's the first time India is sending 3 or 4 astronauts from Indian soil. I cannot deny it's not a risky mission. There is a certain amount of risk involved. And we need to, go through all aspects because, after all, it's a manned mission. And so, we hope for the best. It's a big challenge. It's a major challenge.
I see.
And as far as the space station goes, it's a similar thing. It's just a part of the Gaganyaan mission, as Mr. Shivan said.
I see. Right.
It is a challenge because even this mission on May 27th, remember, it's a test flight of this Crew Dragon, new spacecraft. So there is a lot of risk involved. Lot, because it's the first time.
Right.
Yeah.
What about you, ma'am? Anything you'd like to add? Technical details, maybe, that you can tell us? Any issues that Gaganyaan might face in particular?
Like he said, there is a lot of risk involved in it. So let's look for the best.
Yeah, let's look for the best. The challenge is developing.
Yeah. Covered almost everything. Yeah.
Right.
We have done everything on our side. Even the Apollo mission was a risk.
No doubt.
Going to the moon was a risk.
Yeah.
They were not sure about coming back, and in fact, their orbit was also ready. With Mr. Nixon was supposed to read. But they came back successfully. All the 12 missions succeeded except the Apollo 13. But in space is unforgiving. Let me put it. Space is unforgiving. So
Yes.
It is.
Yes.
challenge or run this thing, it is
So
there.
even then, Lenovo Alexi.
Big about Alex.
Yeah. So when Alexi, who did first, yeah. So he did first talk. He came back safe, but when they were returning, they had a like rough landing, and they landed somewhere in some desert, and then Yuri Gagarin's team went and took them back. So you don't know like what will happen and when. So it is
Yeah.
always a risk. Whatever
Mars
you do,
also,
space is always about a risk.
it is risky. Otherwise, you cannot become an astronaut. That's the
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah, I mean,
It's not.
of course. I mean,
It,
Yeah.
in fact, one thing. Can I add one more thing?
There is one thing
Sure.
about yeah.
What, you're saying something, Ruchi?
So I was just saying, Hadfield, the first Canadian astronaut, he has written one book about this astronaut mindset.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it is really good book, and like everyone should read that book.
the
Yes.
astronaut
In fact,
mindset, right?
yes.
Yeah, on astronauts mindset. Yes,
So you were saying something?
how to become an astronaut and
You were
how to
saying something,
think
sir?
like an astronaut. Yeah.
Yes. What is it? No, what I was saying first, they're planning a manned mission to
You
Mars.
were saying something?
Yeah, that's certain thing for that planning not India, NASA is planning a manned mission to Mars 2030 and beyond.
NASA.
Yeah. Now, and this current level of propulsion, chemical propulsion, it will take about 9-10 months to reach. Okay. Now they are planning nuclear propulsion. Okay, which will cut short the journey time. But there is a risk involved in nuclear propulsion. Okay. But that's what I'm saying. There is a lot of risk involved.
I see.
So, want to face it,
Right.
go flag post to footprint, do it, and you will come back safe, become a hero. At all.
Yeah. So do you want to share anything from your experience? Do you want to share any of your experience here?
Who, me?
Yeah, you.
On what? Going to moon and Mars?
Yeah, yeah.
What experience? Whatever you had, I've had. You talk about SatNav a little. What I would like to say is the role of the ground stations are very important. Very, very important in any space mission.
Yes.
So in that context, since you have worked in SatNav, would you like to say a little about it?
Yeah.
Say.
Yeah, so SatNav was a ground station program which we did here in Mumbai. It was Asia's first open source ground station. So a ground station is the place from where you communicate with the satellite. So there are two types of ground stations, right? So first one is your active ground station, and another one is a passive ground station. So active ground station means ground station where you communicate both the ways, right? You can send signals to the satellite and you can receive signals from the satellite. Whereas passive ground station is the ground station where you can just receive signals and cannot send signals to the satellite. So yes, it was a great experience. That's where I met you. I remember you came to interview us at Wave exhibitions at Nehru Planetarium. Yeah, and you used to call me Kate that time. But yes, it was a great experience. And ground station does play a very important role. I still remember I met this guy. I'm very bad with names, so I forgot his name. So he used to work with ground station of Kalpana Chawla's last flight, Columbia mission.
Oh.
And that's where he was an Israeli guy. Yeah, and he came to KC College.
Israeli
Yes,
guy
and he came to KC College. Yes, he was in India and he came to KC College to talk about his experience. I still remember that. Like, what?
Dead? How can he come to your college?
Arey, he came to India. He came to Mumbai, and then they arranged their talk in our in our college. Yes, I met him there, and there he shared his experience with the Columbia mission.
Okay, I remember that because they had come to
And
the
his
Nehru
experience
Center.
with Chawla as well.
Yeah,
So that's
her
something
husband
which
was.
I remember because I was working with catalogs that time.
Uh,
Yeah, I ask you, according to your experience, what would you like to tell to all
uh,
these aspiring space journalists or people who are interested in this field?
I would like to say that look,
Yeah,
don't become a space journalist for the sake of merely seeing your work in print or in the electronic media and seeing the byline on top.
exactly.
Do it for the sake of the field, do it for the sake of promoting space, and be passionate
Right.
and committed. And you have to read a lot,
Yes.
completely as I do. I don't read
Yes.
anything you know better, nuclear weapons and space.
Yes. Yes.
Enhance your knowledge
Yes.
as much as you can to
Yes.
completely. Because
And
field is expanding.
yes, like
What would you do?
yeah. So yes, like you said, be passionate. You should have holistic approach. You must have
Yeah,
understanding, deep understanding of your subject, and that's why you have to read a lot. You have to see a lot. You have to talk a lot and interact a lot with the people in your domain. And
yeah,
I still remember, when I first visited your house and your room, and when I saw your room, the entire room, which was covered with the pictures and everything just about space science. So he has his own little museum about of space science in his room.
yeah.
So that kind of, I guess, dedication you must have, and you should be a good storyteller. You really should be a good storyteller, and you need to know how to connect the dots and know what to ask and whom, and always be curious. So I think that sums it up.
Okay, listen, Sharwari has asked a question. How important is journalistic skills for the space journalism or reporting? Does it involve political, social context? Ruchi,
Yeah, you take this question. Are
you,
the skills?
you have to have a little bit of journalistic background for covering the space activity. It's not totally divorced because, unlike both of you, Sharwari and you, I'm saying this again. In journalism, you have to
Yeah,
be a little detached from your subject in the sense when you're writing it.
yeah,
You cannot be
yeah,
emotional or philosophical.
yeah,
And this is what they taught us when I joined Times of India Training School in Mumbai years ago, that you
yeah.
cannot be emotional at all. And that is important
Hmm.
and helps you to write objective analytical stories. Second, does it involve
Right.
political social context? Political context,
Sometimes I think sometimes
we
it
live
does.
not so much in India. No, I
Yeah,
don't
not so
think so.
much in India, but sometimes it does.
Social
Like
context,
for
yes,
Chandrayaan
because
2,
uh,
when they were landing on that in that zone, it was
uh,
somehow political context, right?
yes, it was, but
Have
Sharwar,
experience with Kalpana Chawla. You already had a conversation with her, right?
yes,
So
I
you
have
can share
an
that.
experience. Yes, I
Yeah,
have
you
had an
can share
experience.
that experience. Yeah, please.
I wanted, I after her first flight, I had told NASA, I would
Yeah,
like, I can't tell the whole story. That is for the book.
yeah, yeah. Not whole story.
Okay.
Yeah,
So what happened was the interview was fixed for 1 o'clock in the morning from Mumbai. Telephone interview. The interview NASA said was only for 15 minutes. Can you imagine how long it lasted? 1 hour and
yeah,
15 minutes.
yeah.
And she answered all the questions very, very well. And at the end of it, it was I who had to sign off, not Kalpana Chawla.
Yes.
And I met her mom, I met her dad, I met her sister, everybody in Delhi and Karnal. And we wanted to make a movie, but it didn't come through.
Yeah.
And she's a more, I would say about Kalpana Chawla was more as an astronaut, she was a girl who represented girl power. I mean, she
Right.
stood by her ground, went from Karnal to US and fulfilled her dream of going to the stars. I mean, what happened
Yeah.
on the Columbia thing was unfortunate. Of
Yes.
course, that is unfortunate. As we earlier said, Ruchi, that
Yes.
these risk factor and all that stuff. but
Yeah.
see the women power and girl power, girls liberation part. She symbolizes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anything else? Acha.
So
We asked
Sharwar
about
is asking, do journalistic instincts play role, like critical questioning? Yes,
She's
critical
asking.
questioning play role. Yeah, she's
She's
asking.
asking.
What?
She's asking very pointed
A lot
and
about politics now.
no, but very
Yeah,
well.
yeah. So next question is for you. So she's asking, I have one more question. How does political intention or motivation play role in decision making for space or creating policies
Very,
related to space?
my God, it's a very, very sensitive,
Yeah,
touchy,
yeah,
very sensitive and touchy question.
exactly.
Thing is, I don't want to go
Yeah,
into details because it's unfortunate.
yeah,
Certain things were to happen before the last election.
yes,
I don't want to go into the details
yeah,
because at this time,
yes,
the country is not in a good condition. I don't want to rake up a
right,
controversy.
right,
Unfortunately, it
right.
happened. You know that better than I do,
Yeah,
Ruchi. The Chandrayaan 2 and
yeah,
all.
yeah,
Yes,
yeah,
space is used by politicians as a power projection because today
right.
power is projected. The country's power is projected to through two things: one, nuclear weapons, and two,
Nuclear.
space.
And another one, space.
Yes, and we have succeeded on
Yes.
both fronts.
So thank you so
Thank
much
you very much.
everyone for being here. Yeah, in spite of all these technical glitches and other glitches, you guys are
Really did a good
here with
job.
us. So yes, we are thankful for that. Uh, Thanks to Spesonova for giving us this opportunity to
Yeah.
interact with the really good audience. They really ask good questions and some questions which we really can't answer. So yeah, thank you so much.
Thank
Bye.
you. Thank you. Give us grateful to Space Nova for giving us this chance. It is a great Friday afternoon experience for both of us. Thank you.
Yes, yes.